everyone. Welcome to the lecture series that we have been doing from the past couple of weeks, wherein we take your static important GK questions, and we do these sessions on every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, right? Chalo. So now this is the information for a full-fledged CUET course. In case you are preparing for the 26 or the 2027 attempt, get all of these. If you enroll here at Level Up, you get access to top faculties. All your domain subjects are covered, right from science, humanities to commerce, and then there is this PYQ question bank that you get. All of this at a very affordable price of just 19,999, right? The quality of lectures are similar to what are being delivered on YouTube. In case you have humanities as a domain subject, all your humanities domain subjects are specifically being taken by me. Chalo. So the first question is, the name by which Ashoka is generally referred to in his inscriptions is, so Ashoka was a very prominent leader. तो क्वेश्चन अशोका से आते हैं. हमें बहुत डिटेल में एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री तो नहीं पढ़नी, फिलहाल हम ये याद रखेंगे कि अशोका ऑल्सो कॉल्ड बाय द नेम प्रियदर्शी. अब जो अशोका के टाइम पे पिलर्स हैं, इंस्क्रिप्शंस हैं, है ना, उनको लोग डिकोड करते थे. तो देयर वाज दिस पर्सन बाय द नेम जेम्स प्रिंसिप. ये भी क्वेश्चन पूछता है. तो जेम्स प्रिंसिप ने क्या किया था, ये डिकोड किया था कि अशोका बैक इन हिज टाइम पॉपुलर बाय द नेम प्रियदर्शी. अभी प्रियदर्शी का मतलब क्या होता है? So Priyadarshi can be said as one who regards other with kindness. One who regards the other people with kindness, right? Chalo. Remember this and remember James Princip also. अच्छा, प्रियदर्शी जो वर्ड है ये आया कहाँ से? So this is from प्राकृत language. This is from प्राकृत language. प्राकृत language में प्रियदर्शी का मतलब होता है one who respects or regards other with kindness. So this was the name given to Ashoka, right? Chalo. What is not explicitly stated in the Constitution of India but followed as a convention? तो ये क्वेश्चन ये पूछ रहा है कि इन चारों में से ऑप्शन में कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ है जो स्पेसिफिकली कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में मेंशन नहीं है, बट सिंस टाइम जितना निकल चुका है, वी हैव बीन फॉलोइंग दिस, दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज अ कन्वेंशन. तो लेट अस सी द फर्स्ट ऑप्शन. द फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर इज टू बी अ मेंबर ऑफ द लोअर हाउस. नो, हम सबको मालूम है, इफ यू वांट टू बिकम अ मिनिस्टर इन इंडिया, यू हैव टू ईदर बिकम अ मेंबर ऑफ राज्यसभा और लोकसभा विद इन 6 months of becoming a minister. And since finance minister is a minister, right, so he can be either from the lower house or he can also be from the upper house, which is Rajya Sabha. So this option is incorrect. All sections of India are to be represented in the councils of ministers. तो ये भी गलत है. अच्छा, एक चीज याद रखो कि काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स में एक बात है. So the total number of council of ministers that can be there is only 15% of total strength of Lok Sabha. So the current strength of Lok Sabha is 543. 50% निकालोगे तो this will come somewhere around 82. So you can maximum have 82 people as your ministers, right? इसके बाद if both the president and the vice president demit office simultaneously before the end of the tenure, speaker of the lower house of the parliament will officiate as the president. तो यहाँ पे speaker नहीं होगा, CJI होगा, Chief Justice of India. बचा ऑप्शन कौन सा? The prime minister has to resign if he loses the majority in the lower house. Correct. Which is called as no confidence motion. This is called as no confidence motion, mentioned in Article 75, which says in case the ruling party does not have majority in the lower house, it stands like the opposition can pass a no confidence motion and the prime minister will have to resign, because in India we follow parliamentary system. Parliamentary system में executive is responsible to the legislature. Hence if you do not have majority in the legislature, you are removed from the executive also. So the prime minister resigns, the PM resigns with his council of ministers. The PM resigns with his council of ministers. Chalo. Which of the following are stated in the Constitution of India? Chalo. Let us see this question now. The president shall not be a member of either house of the parliament. Correct. The president cannot be a member of either house of the parliament. Pranab Mukherjee, when he became the president of India, he had to resign from Lok Sabha. President shall not be a member of either house of the parliament. Although the president is a part of parliament, the parliament under Article 79 specifically says the lower house, Lok Sabha, the upper house, Rajya Sabha, and the president comprises of the parliament. The president comprises of the parliament, but the president is not a member of, neither he is a member of Lok Sabha nor is he a member of Rajya Sabha. The president shall not be a member of either house of the parliament is a correct statement. The parliament shall consist of the president and 2 houses. Correct. यही मैंने आपको बताया. So the question says choose the correct answer from the codes given below. So both A and B. Both A and B. Both A and B. So which one of the following schedules of the Constitution of India contains provisions regarding anti-defection? See, schedule pe there's a specific video uploaded over YouTube. You can watch it. Schedule becomes very important for your examination every year. Very important. So every year you'll find around 2 questions coming from schedules of the Indian Constitution. Initially, when we got independent in the year when we got a constitution, right, in the year 1950, there were 8 schedules. Currently, we have 12 schedules. The 10th schedule, which is also called as anti-defection law, is specifically about people who opt for different parties. I contested election from Congress and eventually I shifted to BJP to stop all of this horse trade. To stop all of this horse trade, or we can also say आया राम गया राम. एक पार्टी से आया दूसरी पार्टी में चला गया, आया राम गया राम. To stop all of this, in the year 1985, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi passed the 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which is also called as anti-defection law. So your answer becomes 10th schedule. Your answer becomes 10th schedule. An amendment to the Constitution of India can be initiated by the C. अगर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में अमेंडमेंट करना है तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल. इट इज कॉल्ड एज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल. अगर ये बिल पार्लियामेंट पास कर देगी, इट विल बिकम एन एक्ट. इट विल बिकम एन एक्ट which will be called as constitutional amendment act. So your constitutional amendment bill is something which can be passed, which can be initiated from either house. It can be initiated either from the Lok Sabha also, or it can be initiated from the Rajya Sabha. So constitution amendment bill can be initiated in either house of the parliament. But mind you, a money bill can only be initiated in the lower house, which is your Lok Sabha. Very important for your examination. So the answer is both A and B. Both A and B, right? Chalo. The 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 refers to, and abhi aapko bataya, initially when we got this constitution with us, we had around 8 schedules, but currently we have 12 schedules. So your 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act talks about Panchayati Raj institutions, and your 74th Constitutional Amendment Act talks about urban local bodies, or it can also be called as municipalities. So your 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act will talk about, yes, laying the foundation for strong, vibrant Panchayati Raj institutions in the country. Very easy. I guess I have already done these questions in the past few sessions. Concept वही है, घुमा घुमा के पूछता है. So which of the following statements correctly describes the 4th schedule? मैंने आपको बोला schedule बहुत important है. Schedule पे एक specific video है, please watch it. You will be able to answer all of these questions which are coming from schedule. So your 4th schedule talks directly about the representation of states in the upper house, or the Rajya Sabha, or can also be called as Council of States. Your Rajya Sabha, Council of States, or the upper house is a permanent house. It does not get dissolved. Permanent house. The term of a member of Rajya Sabha is 6 years. 1/3 members retire every second year. The total strength of Rajya Sabha is 245. Out of those 245, 233 are elected by the states, and 12 people are nominated by the President of India. So the question is about, it allocates seats in the Council of States, and UP has the highest share. State of Uttar Pradesh has the highest share in Rajya Sabha. Chalo. If a new state of the Indian Union is to be created, which one of the following schedules? That is why I'm saying schedule is very important for your examination. Please watch that video. You'll be able to answer a lot of questions. At least 2 questions are sure. Every year you get 2 questions from schedules. So reading schedules is very important, and you can't say I haven't taught you. There's a specific video kept on the YouTube, and go out and check it, right? And you'll find plethora of videos on YouTube. आप कहीं से भी पढ़ ले, पर schedule जरूर पढ़ें. So if a new state of the Union is to be created, which one of the following schedules of the Constitution must be amended? नया state लाना है. State की बात कहाँ होती है? First schedule में. So the first schedule talks about that India has 28 states and 8 union territories. और नया state बनाना है तो यूज करते हैं Article 3. और जब नया state बन जाता है तो it is added in the Schedule 1, right? So this is your answer. चलो, तो 93rd Constitutional Amendment Act deals with Constitutional Amendment Act. I'll try to get a different separate class. अभी के लिए just remember, ये backward classes हैं, इनका government employment में reservation की बात करता है कौन? 93rd Constitutional Amendment Act, right? Very important question, has been asked in the examination previously also. चलो, which one of the following articles of the Indian Constitution provides that it shall be the duty of the Union to protect every state against external aggression and internal disturbance? तो देखो, जो हमारे states हैं ना, इनको प्रोटेक्ट करने की जिम्मेदारी दे दी गई है सेंटर को, और ये लिखा हुआ है आर्टिकल 355 में. कि भाई अगर लेट्स से स्टेट ऑफ यूपी है और उसको अगर पाकिस्तान से खतरा है, बांग्लादेश से खतरा है, या कोई भी एक्सटर्नल थ्रेट है, तो उसको प्रोटेक्ट करेगा उसका बड़ा भाई। उसका बड़ा भाई कौन है? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट। दिस इज रिटन अंडर आर्टिकल 355 ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। Which one among the following commissions was set up in the pursuance of a definite provisions under an article of the Constitution of India? मतलब ये कह रहा है कि भाई इसमें चारों में से कौन सी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी है, तभी तो कह रहा है कि डेफिनेट प्रोविजन है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर। तो इट इज टॉकिंग बॉडी। पहले भी बताया था, any body which is mentioned in the constitution will be called as constitutional body. Any body that is made of a statutory body, and any body that is made by the cabinet decision becomes a non-constitutional, example नीति आयोग। तो सेंट्रल विजिलेंस कमीशन तो 2013 के कानून से बना है। नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन के लिए भी कानून है। यूजीसी के लिए 1956 का कानून है। बचा क्या? इलेक्शन कमीशन, बिकॉज इलेक्शन कमीशन इज मेंशन्ड अंडर आर्टिकल 324 ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, एंड द इलेक्शन कमीशन लुक्स आफ्टर सुपरिंटेंडेंस, डायरेक्शन एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ इलेक्शन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, लोकसभा, राज्यसभा, एंड देन योर स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज एंड स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल्स ओनली। और पंचायती राज एंड म्यूनिसिपैलिटी का इलेक्शन जो होता है इसको कराता है स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन, याद रखेंगे, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। सिर्फ पंचायती राज और म्यूनिसिपैलिटी का चुनाव कौन कराता है? स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन। ऑल अदर इलेक्शंस इन द इंडिया आर कंडक्टेड बाय द और लेट्स से द इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया मेंशन्ड इन आर्टिकल 324। currently we have 3 election commissioners. Initially we had 1, but by the 61st constitutional amendment act of 1989 the election commissioners were increased from 1 to 3 were increased from 1 to 3 were increased from 1 to 3. So everything is a question. चलो, which of the following are included in the DPSPs, right? तो इनमें से DPSP कौन सा है? चलो, तो prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor, this is a fundamental right, article 23. चलो, प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ कंजम्पशन ऑफ अल्कोहल फॉर मेडिकल पर्पसेज, हाँ ये आपको पढ़ाया हुआ है, आर्टिकल 47 में ये मेंशन्ड है। इसी लॉजिक को लगा के बिहार ने और गुजरात ने लिकर बैन कर रखा था, राइट? तो योर ओनली ऑप्शन टू इज करेक्ट पूछा है। चलो, विच शेड्यूल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया कंटेन्स स्पेशल प्रोविजंस फॉर द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ शेड्यूल एरियाज इन सेवरल स्टेट? तो देखो, जैसे 12 शेड्यूल हैं करेंटली, इसमें से जो शेड्यूल 5 और शेड्यूल 6 है, शेड्यूल 5 प्लस शेड्यूल 6, ये दोनों ही बात करते हैं शेड्यूल ट्राइब के प्रोटेक्शन के बारे में, दोनों बात करते हैं शेड्यूल ट्राइब के प्रोटेक्शन के बारे में। शेड्यूल 5 इज जेनरिक और इंडिया के बहुत सारे पार्ट्स पे एप्लीकेबल है, बट शेड्यूल 6 इज एप्लीकेबल ओनली ऑन त्रिपुरा, असम, मेघालय, मणिपुर एंड मणिपुर। सो त्रिपुरा, असम, मेघालय, मणिपुर इज टॉकिंग अबाउट स्पेशल कंट्रोल टू शेड्यूल एरियाज, राइट? तो थर्ड तो होगा नहीं, थर्ड टॉक्स अबाउट ओथ, सेवंथ टॉक्स अबाउट द 3 लिस्ट, नाइन्थ टॉक्स अबाउट योर फर्स्ट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्ट, है ना, लंबी कहानी है। आंसर इज फिफ्थ। सिक्स्थ होता तो फिर हम चेक करते स्पेसिफिक पूछ रहा है या जेनरिक पूछ रहा है। चलो, द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पावर बिटवीन द सेंटर एंड द स्टेट्स इन द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज बेस्ड ऑन द एक्ट प्रोवाइडेड। अब देखो, तो एवरीवन नोज इंडिया इज अ फेडरल पॉलिटी, फेडरल पॉलिटी, इंडिया इज अ फेडरल पॉलिटी। फेडरल पॉलिटी मीन्स द distribution of power, the distribution of power is at different levels. So we have central government and the state government. सेंटर की पावर, तो स्टेट की पावर शेड्यूल 7 में डिफाइंड है, जहाँ पे सेंट्रल लिस्ट है जिस पे सेंट्रल लॉ बनाता है, स्टेट लिस्ट है जिस पे स्टेट लॉ बनाता है, कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट है दोनों लॉ बनाते हैं, और रेजिडरी लिस्ट है जिस पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ पार्लियामेंट या सेंट्रल लॉ बनाता है। पूछता है डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पावर हमने लिया कहाँ से? तो देखो, जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट 1935 था, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट 1935 ने क्या किया था? पावर्स को सेंटर और स्टेट के बीच में बांट दिया था, और जो आपकी रेजिडरी पावर्स थी वो दे दी थी गवर्नर जनरल को या फिर वाइस रॉय को दे दी थी रेजिडरी पावर्स। मतलब जो सी भी पावर सेंटर स्टेट में लिस्ट में नहीं मेंशन, कोई नया टॉपिक आ गया, लेट्स से मान लीजिए जब हम आजाद हुए थे तब वी वर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट रोबोट्स, वी वर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट क्रिप्टो करेंसी, बट अब उसके लिए लॉज आ रहे हैं ना, तो कौन बना रहा है? पार्लियामेंट बना रहा है। कौन बना रहा है? पार्लियामेंट। सो वी हैव टेकन दिस स्कीम फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट 1935. A lot of principles of our Indian constitution have been taken from GOI 1935. Becomes very important for your exam. With reference to Indian history, the members of the Constituent Assembly from the provinces were, अभी देखो, so there was a Constituent Assembly formed because of the Cabinet Mission Plan. So the Constituent Assembly initially had 389 members. Out of this 296 were coming from provincial assemblies, indirect election हुआ था, and your 93 were being nominated by princely states. अब ये जो 380 कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली बनी थी ना, दिस वाज फ्रेम्ड इन ऑन 9th December, दिस मेट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम ऑन 9th December 1946. टिल नाउ पाकिस्तान वाज नॉट फॉर्म्ड, बट 3rd June 1947 को आया माउंटबैटन प्लान। क्या आया? माउंटबैटन प्लान। माउंटबैटन प्लान ने बोला कि देयर शैल बी अ पाकिस्तान आल्सो, व्हिच मींस वेस्ट पाकिस्तान एंड ईस्ट पाकिस्तान। सो आउट ऑफ दीस 389 members, 90 people migrated to Pakistan to frame their constitution. Eventually we had around 299 members. Out of those 299 members, 54 people signed it on 26 January 1950. तो पूछता है इलेक्टेड थे, नॉमिनेटेड थे, क्या थे? अच्छा, इसने स्पेसिफिकली किसके बारे में पूछ लिया? द मेंबर्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूंट असेंबली फ्रॉम द प्रोविंसेस. तो ये जो प्रोविंशियल असेंबली से आ रहे हैं ना 296, ये कैसे आए थे? इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन था, स्टेट की लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज भेजती थी, सिलेक्टेड. So they were elected by the provincial legislative assemblies. They were elected by the provincial legislative assemblies. 93 people were nominated by the princely states. In the Constitution of India, promotion of international peace and security is included in the. देखो ये सब चीजें आपको रटनी पड़ेंगी. DPSP का आर्टिकल 51 खोलोगे आप. I have told you multiple times that DPSP article is very important. So article 51 talks about international peace and security. International peace and security. So your answer is DPSP. The provisions in the 5th schedule and 6th schedule in the Constitution of India are made in order to, देखो अभी बताया था, schedule tribes के लिए बनाया, 5th और 6th schedule दोनों ही. The ideal of welfare state in the Indian Constitution is enshrined in its, देखो welfare state होता है कल्याणकारी राज्य, जो state आपके लिए कुछ कुछ चीजें करेगा. They tax the rich and give it to poor. They'll try to give you midday meals. They'll try to provide सरकारी schools, सरकारी hospitals. Why are we doing all of it? Because Article 39B and Article of which talks about taking the resources from the rich and giving it to poor. So your DPSPs, because DPSPs are from Article 36 to 51, Part 4 of the Indian Constitution, have been taken from the Irish Constitution. Please remember, everything becomes very important. And also your DPSPs are non-justiciable. Non-justiciable means you cannot sue us in the court of law, right? Chalo. Consider the following statements regarding the DPSPs. The principles spell out the socio-economic democracy in the country, right? तो डेमोक्रेसी के हम 3 एंगल्स मानते हैं, सोशल, इकोनॉमिक और पॉलिटिकल. पॉलिटिकल डेमोक्रेसी होती है एवरीवन इज गेटिंग द राइट टू वोट, व्हेन एवरीवन इज गेटिंग द राइट टू contest, there is no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, race, religion, sex and place of birth. Social democracy is when you are trying to exclude the people, the vulnerable sections of society also. आप SC, STs, OBCs इनके लिए laws बनाते हो, old age people के laws बनाते हो. Every person, every section which is vulnerable is being taken care of. Economic democracy is when you start taxing the poor, taxing the rich and giving it to poor. You avoid concentration of wealth in the hands of few, right? So social and economic democracy is being met through the DPSPs, and political democracy is being met through fundamental rights. क्या है? Consider the following statements regarding the DPSPs. The principles spell out the socio-economic democracy in the country. बिल्कुल. The provisions contained in these principles are not enforceable by any court. DPSP enforceable तो है नहीं. So both statement A and B becomes correct. Both statement A and B become correct. In the federation established by the government of India Act of 1935, residuary powers were given to, बताया मैंने आपको. अभी हमारे पास schedule 7 है, list number 7 है. So your schedule 7 talks about central list, state list and concurrent list. रेजिडरी पावर जो है कि मतलब जो तीनों में मेंशन नहीं है वो हमने पार्लियामेंट को दे दी. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट में भी हमने क्या किया, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पावर बिटवीन सेंटर एंड स्टेट, बट द रेजिडरी पावर्स आर गिवन टू द वाइसरॉय, वर गिवन टू द वाइसरॉय. तो यहाँ पे गवर्नर जनरल आंसर हो जाएगा, होना चाहिए था यहाँ पे वाइसरॉय, बट मोर और लेस बोथ द थिंग्स आर सेम. सो दैट इज इट. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm probably expecting you're watching these videos because we have mostly done, we have done around 300 odd questions till now, and I'm expecting that no question which is coming in your static portion in your next year examination will go out of this playlist. So in case you have started watching it, I guess you might start watching it late, but whenever you are watching it, please make sure that you are going through all those videos. Try to make sure that you are reading or going through them in 2x or let's say 1.5x, but please watch these. These are going to be very, very crucial for your upcoming exams. Thank you for now. I'll probably see you on Wednesday now. Thank you so much.